Welcome back to Street Scene Power Hour, and we are at episode number 80. So we've been here 80. A long time.
We're getting closer to 100 here, huh?
Welcome, Rick Herrera, my host.
Yes.
John Lessagan, it's my host. My name is Greg Roten, and we have a very special guest, a legend in this town, let's put it that way, that knows just about, if not everything, about a carburetor. And we have Harry Benchwick with us. Welcome, Harry. We're going to get to you in just a second. We got some things to just kind of clear up here, talk about before we dive right into our subject. So guess what? We had the Street Scene Car and Custom Bike Show.
Yes, and it was a great day. It was a perfect show. We couldn't have got we had about 400 cars there.
Yeah, it was.
Oh man.
But you know what? It wasn't as hot as last year, so it was really kind of pleasant. Really nice. So
on the grass and everything, and it was nice.
I want to apologize to some of our trophy winners. I'm trying to sort this out. It got completely screwed up. So I've been calling people all week trying to get the trophies back and forth and getting them to the right people. So I'm still working on that, but we're getting through it. So we do have, nothing's perfect. We do screw up. We had some screw ups during the show, and that's fine. But I want to mention July 20th. 2025. Mark your calendars down for that show at Austin Town Park. So we will have Vegas already agreed to come back. We'll have Molnar's back. I'm going to try to get Guys Without Ties killed it. They're awesome. Yeah. But I'm trying.
It seemed like they wanted to play longer though.
Oh yeah. I mean, they just want to play. So basically, what I'm trying to get another band what we had scheduled before. I'm going to try to get them out for that show. So make sure.
That's a hell of a band, Guys Without Ties.
They're good. They're really good.
Band? Wow. Yeah. They got the whole
see if you can get the band Guys with Ties.
Yeah. Well, that ain't us. We don't have any ties. None of us here have ties, and nobody wants to wear a damn tie
today. T-shirt today.
Well, at least I have a collar.
Hey,
I'm more dressed up than you. What's that?
I was going to say you look pretty slick today. There.
Well, thank you. Yeah. But we did have that show. That really went well.
What was it? Mickey Nuzzo won the champion in his 56 Chevy. Oh, what a beauty.
Yeah. That was. Yeah, we want to thank everybody for coming out and supporting us. And again, it all matters because Veterans Outreach is who got the money. And I do have a figure, and it's about $4,000 plus. So I haven't got all the donations in yet, and I'm waiting for all the donations to get in, and that all goes to Veterans Outreach. It goes to our veterans. That's what it's for. That's why we have this car show.
You know what was neat? I was collecting money there at the entrance, and there was people saying, I told them what it was for and everything. Oh, it's for the veteran? Here, just keep it. It was $10. They give me a $20. Just keep it. And that happened numerous times.
So. Yeah, that's the way we want it. We want, we don't keep any money. This car show, Armstrong on the back end spends a lot of money to put the show on out of their own funds to raise money for veterans. That's what it's all about. We don't do the car show to raise money for Armstrong. That's not what we are. So we raise money for a charity, and veterans, obviously, Rick's a veteran. Thank you for your service, Rick. But
the Navy man.
Yep. I have a family of veterans. So we, got a soft spot in the heart for them. Sure. So we definitely want to take care of our veterans. They take care of us every day. Why can't we repay them for that?
You got it.
So
we're real happy about the show, though. The show, you worry about it, and then all of a sudden you see the weather's perfect. You go, yes, it's going to be.
If the weather's perfect, it's going to go off. So,
yes.
But Rick, I want to get to what we're going to do. By the time you see this show, we'll have another couple in the can here. So again, the Street Scene Car Custom Bike Show, I have to edit together, which there goes 40 hours of editing. Literally, it'll take me a week to edit all that.
That probably won't happen for another month or so, huh?
No, I'm saying a month maybe to get that show on. But again, then in the back burner, this Sunday, we are going to, I'll let you announce it, Rick.
Okay, the Mahoning Valley Old Car Club. This is one of my favorite shows. I just love the people there. I love the setting there in what's that, Boardman Park there?
Yep.
Right near Southern Park Mall there, right up from Southern Park Mall. If you've never been there, it's just like a nice laid back show. And it's a lot of classics there, a lot of original cars there, which is really nice.
A lot of them are the older, they're early 1900s cars is what really they're featured. And that's a lot of their club members. They have remember the REO and, the Rio, not the REO, like Speedwagon. It's Rio, which, you want to get into REO Speedwagon?
That's where they got their name at.
That's exactly right. Anyway, that's why. So we'll be there. And then right after that, Rick, we're going up to Ravenna.
Ravenna, probably the biggest show around this area. Oh, wait till you see it, Greg. Fantastic. So, John, you been there, John?
I've never been there. I want to go. And just let me go back and talk about the one you guys are doing next week at Boardman Park. The park itself is beautiful. Sure. I mean, the buildings they have there. And what's nice about when they have them in the park, like ours was in the park, is the setting. The setting. You combine those classic cars, great showing, in a setting versus sitting. And don't get me wrong, shows on a parking lot are nice, but they're hot. Come on, if the sun's out. You put a show in the park on the grass, it's a great time. It's
a great club too. The old
it is. I know. I've been there before. I'm going to make it to the Ravenna one. I really am.
I can tell you what. Well, I don't know, Rick, if you want to ride up with me or how that's working, but
anyway, I was going to bring my Firebird, and I said, if I bring my Firebird, no one's even going to look at it because the cars up there are so nice.
it's a drive. I'm bringing one of my cars. Why not? We'll just drive. Maybe we'll go up together.
I might have carburetor problems or something. Who knows?
Well, hey, I got a guy that can fix that.
Where's he at?
I got a brand new carburetor on mine.
Yeah. Well, and we'll talk about that.
Well, I'm having carburetor problems. I just bought the damn thing. So guess what? We have the guy that you need to ask. And if you've ever been down Glenwood Avenue for many, 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 and many years, there is a place called Benchwick Carburetors. And we have the legend himself, Harry Benchwick, right here with us. Welcome, Harry Benchwick, to Street Scene Power Hour. We have a lot to get to. So,
can you say that last line again so I could show, play it to my wife every once in a while?
Okay, this is for Harry's wife.
The legend,
the living legend of Youngstown, Ohio, is Harry Benchwick. So.
Let me say this: when I stopped down to Benchwick, and again, I've been going to Benchwick with my dad when my dad went to Benchwick. So I mean that's how long, the building's been around. But when I stopped down, I was coming back from a meeting I had downtown, and I seen Benchwick, and I said, "Whoa, I got to get this guy on the show," And I stopped in. Rather than talking about the show and carburetors, we spent an hour talking about growing up in that area, and the guys we knew, and the bars we went to, and Idora Park. And I'll tell you what, I said, "Look, I got to go, man." I said, "I'm gonna, we were about ready to crack open a couple of beers and just sit there and talk." He had carburetors to rebuild, and he didn't want to do that. So it's the history of this building. The history of this carburetor place, his family history, that's the beauty, because that ties into this classic car scene. I mean, that's what we're all about. And then when you talk, and I thought I'm going to walk in there and, he's going to be hurting, man. There's not going to be many carburetors there because everybody wants the fuel injection. There's 1 million carburetors in that place. And that's what we're going to talk about. But it should be a great show. And Harry, I want to thank you for agreeing to do it.
But you know what? Go ahead, Rick. I'm gonna expand on Rick's question. Give us some history on, and I'm sure that's what you're going to ask, right, Rick? Give us some history on the family business of when it started, how it started, and when everything about it.
Back in the 50s, my father started the business. Well, he bought it from All's House, was his name. They're on the east side.
All's House, okay.
Yes. And my dad, bought him out. He still owned my father still owned a gas station on the east side, and bought that business out and just started rebuilding carburetors. Worked with the guy, rebuilt. And then we moved to the south side on Canfield Road, and then we moved to Glenwood Avenue. Okay. Well, we moved to Glenwood Avenue, then Canfield Road, then back to Glenwood Avenue. But I worked with my dad since probably the mid to late 60s. Every day after school, every Saturday. And we basically worked on cars too, but we always did the carburetors, but we worked on the cars. Now, I don't want to work on cars. I'm too old. And I don't bend over like I used to. And
except when you get your taxes. That's when you bend over is when you get your taxes. Sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
Oh, man.
I had to put that in.
And if you don't love what you're doing, it's if you don't love old cars. I mean,
Right.
my oldest car is a 28. My newest antique car is a 68. And
Okay.
I mean, I have a Packard in the garage that my father bought me in 59.
Wow.
That's cool.
And you can walk in, that car's sitting right there. And I have another Packard in the back that I'm building. I decided I'm going to buy one car for each kid. Now I'm working on grandkids.
Yeah.
And now they're calling me up to see how I feel. How's my health? Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
But no, but we started, my father never wanted to do a lot of mail order because we were really just too busy doing this around basically 3 states we did. And I wanted to go into the mail order business, and that wasn't as big back then as it is now.
It's huge now, yeah.
Oh, it's huge. And, back then we'd be 5, 6, 10 carburetors behind. Now, ask John, I'm about 90 some behind right now.
Oh,
Wow.
Well,
90.
that was a question. It's like, is it still going strong? Because it's all fuel injection now.
90
There's got to be.
carburetors.
But I'm not after the fuel injection guys. I do the antique car guys. I mean, we'll do anything downdraft. The updraft brass, I stay away from. It's just impossible for me. I just lost my train of thought.
Well, you're doing updraft.
Harry, let me ask you: is it hard to get the parts for the carburetors now? The little jets, the adjustment screws, right? No,
not really. On some it is, but my father was an extreme hoarder. My father would buy companies out, and to this day, I could go up in the attic of the shop and see a box. I say, I wonder what this is. And it'll say, company's name. I open it up. There's 50 brand new floats.
wow.
That I didn't know were up there.
Yeah.
But Dad would do that. He would buy companies out and keep all their parts. Keep all the parts he wanted. Usually everything's available.
Okay.
And I deal with a friend of mine in New York City who's a carburetor rebuilder too. And we help each other out. If I need a part or if he needs a part, he calls me up. And we all have, in this business, you have your contacts. So if you're building Strombergs and you need a certain part for a real rare Stromberg, I know I have. Okay. And so these guys know I have them, and I'll sell them to them or give them to them. We'll barter a lot of times. That's the way this business works anymore. You're not going to corner them like that friend of mine in New York City goes, Harry, we can work together. And that's what we do. And, but like I say, I started the mail order. We deal in Hemmings and some of the antique car books. The phone rings nonstop. It's amazing.
That's a great problem.
It
Harry,
really is.
how many carburetors you have, Harry?
What's that?
How many carburetors you have?
How many you want? I bet you if I don't have 5,000 carburetors in that shop.
5,000?
I'm gonna tell you. Wait,
the
I'm
whole
gonna tell you.
attic of the shop is full.
Yeah.
Semi-trailer in the back full of cores.
Do you have them labeled? What they are?
No, I kind of have them in order where they belong.
Okay.
If someone walks in there and says, Harry, I need a part for a Packard, Stromberg on a Packard, they'll say, you'll never find it. And I'll walk right to it. But no one else would ever find it in my shop.
It's up here. It's up in this.
Yeah. And sometimes, when the kids were younger, they'd come over, they'd come work with me in the summer and they'd clean up and think they were, I can't say this mean because it's not, it's just, they would organize stuff for me. And it would take me months to unorganize it so I could find
Unorganize it.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you something. When I walked into the shop and he said 5,000, he may be counting low. It's a flashback back to the 60s, and there, no matter where you look, there is carburetors, and I'm not joking, from floor to ceiling. And I just looked around and I was amazed, and I thought, all these carburetors, and yet, as Harry mentioned, he knows, if you need a certain carburetor, I know where to go get it.
What's your oldest one, Harry?
The oldest carburetors I have?
Yeah.
Oh, I have a bunch in the teens, maybe early brass. I do save.
Oh, wow. You're talking 1920s.
I don't work on them. I won't work, but
yeah,
I have them. Yeah, I just kept them because if someone needs it, I could help them. That's usually how I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to get rich on one job.
Yeah.
Right.
But I love doing it. And, I remember Dan Ryan once said on the radio, he says, if you love what you're doing, you never work a day.
Yeah.
I still like doing it.
That's good.
Like, I produced this show for a number of years. Yep.
Yeah. Just let me point out, since this is on YouTube and we have people all over the country, it's really that watch this show.
Sure.
Harry's located in Youngstown, Ohio. All right,
Yes.
that's where the carburetor place is at. So when he's mentioning South Side, East Side, it's Youngstown, Ohio. Dan Ryan was a radio host at Youngstown, Ohio.
Yep.
So for some of you listening, people will go, where's the East Side, South Side, or Dan Ryan? Your shop, where is your shop located, Harry?
We're on the south side of Youngstown.
Okay, and the address is what?
We're where Idora Park used to be. We're on the intersection of Glenwood and Canfield. Route 62 Glenwood.
Okay.
And we've been in that building there for about 34 years.
Okay.
And it's perfect for me. I load the shop up with my cars. There's, I think, 7 of my cars in the shop.
Oh, my God. Really?
Just so I don't have to work on anyone else's cars.
Well, I was going to say, that was a question. I'm like, if somebody has a problem, carb loading up or it's running lean or something, do they run it down? Can they drive it down to you to have you work on it?
Yeah, a lot of guys I will. I'll say, just bring it down, give them a date. Just bring it down Monday or Friday. And let me have an eyeball at it and see if this is actually your problem. Because it's really, you don't want to sell someone or rebuild someone a carburetor and then find out that they put one of those Petronix ignitions in there and that's why the thing's breaking up.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot. I mean, there's a lot of jobs where I could rebuild the carburetor and I say, well, here, you got a bad brake boost. And, people don't know that. You hit the brakes, you go stop at a red light, and the car's getting real rough or stalls, and they all think it's the carburetor. Well, I tell them, we look at it, because you've been doing this for 50 years. And I'll say, hit the brakes, let me hear something. And you hit the brakes, you hear that idle just go nuts.
Oh, yeah.
So then you find out, I could have charged a guy $200-300 to do a carburetor job. But he's going to come back and say, Harry, you rebuilt this carburetor, it's doing the exact same thing. So, but one thing my father taught me, my father, if anyone knew my dad, he did not pull punches. And he told me, Harry, you're going to do this business. If you take care of a person, he'll tell 5 people. If you
word of
screw
mouth
someone,
is the best. Yep.
if you screw someone, he'll tell 100.
Yeah.
And I live by that. And I have young guys that are starting to get into business that you help out. And I tell them that story. I says, don't try to make all your money in 1 month. And I tell them, you take care of your customers because them are the people that bring you more work in. I mean, we got a customer, a marina in Greece that we rebuilt for. And I asked him, I said, hey, how did you get my name? He says, well, the guys in Sweden that you rebuilt for gave me your name.
Yeah.
Unreal. Yeah.
It's really, I've had big business guys that were friends with my dad that would walk in after my dad passed and, years after, and they would just say, your dad would be proud because you kept everything going. And that keeps me going.
You mentioned marina. You build carburetors other than for cars, for marines, for boats and so on?
Definitely,
Right.
yes. Yeah.
Are they different?
That's my question. Same, Rick. Yeah.
There's a lot of different parts in them. But they're basically the same. The big difference with a boat carburetor and a car carburetor, there's no extra vacuums on. Okay.
Then on the marine carburetor.
Marine, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't want to have a spot that floods where it could pour into the bilge. But we do the furthest, I know we did a bus in Africa.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
A what?
A bus.
It was a bus.
Oh, a bus. Okay.
To this day, I have no clue how they got a hold of it. But
hey,
they called me, sent it over. We do a lot of work in Canada. Every state in the United States. I don't think there is a state that we have not shipped.
Let me ask, what's involved in rebuild? I know each one is different, maybe, but what's the basic involved in rebuilding a carburetor? I bring your carburetor and I say, Harry, I want it rebuilt. So
right. We'll say it's 60s carburetor. How's that?
Sure. The biggest issue is, number one, you have to know what their traits are for going bad. Say like some of the quadrajets, you always knew that the throttle shafts went bad, the accelerator pumps went bad, the floats always went bad, but now they make them out of a little better material where the nitro-filled floats do not go bad like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, the brass floats, the new brass floats they're making to replace them are terrible.
Oh, really?
The metal's too thin. And the problem with a brass float is it's not going to get bad a little bit. It's bad. When
is that because of the gas, the ethanol gas?
It's the cheap way they make them.
Okay.
To be honest.
The older brass floats.
They're great.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I thought brass would be a lot better than plastic floats.
The old brass is great. They're double the thickness. The welds are way better. The solders are way better. But the new ones, unless I really have to, I try to put the original style float in. And the big problem we're having now is gasoline.
That was another question. How bad the ethanol? I know it tears up fuel lines. I know the rubber in the needle and seat that gets eaten away. How much has that changed for you when they introduced ethanol?
It's terrible. And every customer I get that has an older, if someone's driving like a dump truck or something like that, they can run whatever they want. But if you have, like, say, your 68 Camaro or something like that, I thought you're driving a $70,000 car. Why are you putting pump gas from these corner stores in it? Because you won't believe what it does to the fuel systems. And I'm not talking just the carburetors. I've seen it peel rubber fuel line apart. Mm-hmm. I've seen, it just destroys fuel pumps. And lately in the last few years, we were getting a lot of problems with fuel pressure. A typical carburetor that we runs 5 to 7 pounds fuel pressure. The alcohol affects these check valves in some of these older fuel pumps, and now you'll be running 12, 13 pounds. Well,
not good.
It loads up. There's not, and you have to explain it to them. Go spend the 40 cents a gallon extra. I think Circle K has it. I think some of the sheets do.
Marathons do also. Yeah.
Get
the blue pump gas. Get the real gas. Okay?
What's the real gas?
Yeah.
Anything ethanol free. And now a lot of people think that high test premium gas is ethanol free, and it's not true. And I've talked to a couple fuel
Suppliers.
suppliers. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you. And they would tell me it's average around 10, maybe 13% in the state of Ohio for alcohol, for ethanol.
Yeah.
No one checks it.
No.
It is not a regulated thing. They do not go and say, hey, I got a can of gas, like they do to make sure you're giving them a real gallon. They do not have it to say, hey, this is 10%. And I talked to this one guy. He says, Harry, I've seen it go 15, 16%. And the reason why is some of these real puny gas stations, real small gas stations, they will get everyone's leftover blends, is from what I was explained. And you just don't know what you're getting. And the way you could tell is put a can of gas, a little bit of gas in a mason jar. Let it sit out in your garage for a week. And within like 4 days, you'll see it's turning orange already.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's how fast it goes.
That's the ethanol.
Yeah.
Yes. Ethanol separates from the gas.
So you just seal it. You put a
leave it open. Leave it
open. Okay.
That's why you can't run pump gas in your weed eater and your lawnmower. You have to use real gas. Because if you've seen, it leaves like almost like a rust sand in the bottom of the carburetor.
And another thing is, I'm sure Harry's run into this a lot, as I run into it a lot. That ethanol turns into like a yellow jello is what I call it. It's awful. It'll fill up your float ball with like a yellow jello.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
It's terrible.
I could send you pictures and you'd say, Harry, there's no way. No way this was on a motor. And these guys would tell me this thing ran. But, and then like a lot of people die by a lot of these fuel treatments to stabilize.
Yeah.
Okay. The only stable I've had, I'm not saying the name, but a stabilizer, a popular stabilizer that you would never know it was in the carburetor. That's how,
they're not as effective anymore with this ethanol.
No, but we
we
have used Startron, and I've had very good luck with Startron.
Startron. I've never even heard of that.
What do you do? Put that in every tank?
Put it in with the gas. I would tell you, to be honest with you, you're putting that car away for the winter.
Yeah.
Go fill it up, put the Startron in the gas, and run it for a half hour.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys put it in the gas tank and
got to get it through the carb.
You got to get it through the fuel lines, the fuel pump, and the carburetor.
I'm writing that down.
How about seafoam, Harry?
I don't use it that much, but a lot of guys love it.
Yeah, I've been using it.
A lot of the older guys die by seafoam. They just love it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really used it enough to tell you, hey, that's a great product. I have used it in one of my Packard engines, and it did get rid of the tick. It was a brand new motor too.
Did
get rid of the tick.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I've used seafoam to kind of clean stuff out with.
Yeah, that's
but but I've never really now. Question for you: there's a million types of carburetors out there.
Sure.
Now, I have a question. I always see this, and I always question why. Seems like the racing guys. I'm sure you get race car carburetors coming. Seems like they're all using Hollies. I mean, there's always the Holly Edelbrock,
right?
Bashing.
I'm not an Edelbrock guy.
That's what I was wanting to know because
that's what I got on my Firebird.
Well, they have the Edelbrock and
650.
They have the Edelbrock, the Carter same design.
I just explained this to a customer today. I had I think a 59 Lincoln carburetor sitting there, and he bought an Edelbrock at a swap meet. And I showed him. He goes, well, are these different? I go, no, basically it's the same design. It's just a different company put their name on it. They did a couple other things. But basically, that Edelbrock carburetor you're buying from Summit or Jegs really uses the same needles and seats that an old Cadillac in the late 50s and 60s used.
The old Carter AFBs.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And they were a good carburetor. But I'll tell you, everyone loves Hollies. Holly is the.
Here's a testament to that.
But I'll tell you something in a minute about that.
Well, you know what? Again, from personal experience, I've got a Holly on my Caprice and an Edelbrock on my Ford.
Mm-hmm.
The Caprice, I put that Edelbrock on, I tuned it, and it was good for 23 years. I never touched it.
Mm-hmm.
The Edelbrock, every freaking year, I had to retune it. I had it get clogged. It just a nightmare, and it's still on there. And I just yesterday pulled the top off, cleaned the jets out, had to adjust everything back. I'm like, I hate this carburetor. And it's just a personal opinion. There's people that hate Holly that love Edelbrock, but I always look at Edelbrock for a street car, Holly for a lot more than that.
I like Hollies, but I like old Hollies.
Yes.
The new Hollies, and you'll be able to tell if you look at the side of a new Holly carburetor, or if you go to swap meet, you're looking at carburetors. Say you're looking at 850s or 750s, whatever. They had little veins on the side of the main body. Usually they had 2 or 3.
Yep.
The new ones have like 5. I don't know if I showed John, but I had one there. I peeled the gasket off and half the metal come with the gasket.
Yeah.
And they're just, the metal quality is disgusting.
They're probably made, are the parts made for Hollies anymore in the US, or are they made outsourced to China?
I'd have to say everything's outsourced.
That's what I was wondering. Okay.
Let me ask, let's for the listening audience, and Greg, you just said you had to tune up your Edelbrock. What's a basic carburetor tune up?
Well, I don't do that. I'm just a rebuilder.
Okay.
But if I rebuilt the carburetor, I mean, when I do these, we got them. The shafts are out. I mean, this thing's a bare block when I start. And then I rebush, we rebush them, redo everything. They're about, Edelbrock's about $190. And Holly's about $190.
That's now, rebuilt.
Yeah, that's completely rebuilt and ready to go. Now, our show concourse jobs, they're higher. Okay.
Yeah. What's the difference?
Well, all the hard steel goes out for like the gold anodized plating.
Oh, okay.
And they're
pretty looking.
There's on the front cover, there's a job that we did with, I think, 3 or 4 carburetors on this motor. And I think that motor's in Japan right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do well. I'm not bragging. But I love what I'm doing. And when I get a customer, I talk to them. We'll BS for 10 minutes. And I don't want to be that guy that says, take it or leave it. I'm never with that guy. And if someone has the difference between me and a lot of these other companies, and I'm not just saying this. If you have a problem, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to figure it out. One day I was heading up to Detroit because a guy said the carburetor I rebuilt stalled and he can't get it running. And he was pretty irate. I said, well, okay, I'll come out. It was Friday. I said, I'll come out Saturday morning. So Saturday morning, I called the guy up, tell him I'm on my way. He goes, oh, don't worry. The points were back. Yeah. Okay. you might think that's BS.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, last week, 2 weeks ago, I went to Ravenna to help a guy with his Lodestar truck that the governor was bad. I told him 20 times, governor's bad. Here's how to check it. Well, my mechanic says the carburetor plates aren't open. I says, no, your governor's bad. So I went over there and, pulled the thing for the governor, and the thing works perfect.
Yeah.
It's tickled pink. And the best part about it was he took me for a ride on his property, and his neighbor had a 51 GMC truck. So I bought that. So my wife wasn't. Yeah, she said, "What are we going to do with that?" Well,
I'll figure out something. You can't have too many cars.
I have to build a big garage at the house. That's what I have to do. I can really build it up.
So let me ask you this. You go, and I'm going to go into Rick will love this, the Volkswagens. You get a lot of guys that will get
carburetors.
Well, listen, here's what I'm getting to. Some of the newer Volkswagens and some of the Gias and the other ones came out with fuel injection. I think this 70 years, some model Super Beetles
70
has fuel injection. And these guys hate them. They take that fuel injection off and they go with the carburetor. Carburetor's less finicky than the fuel injection, or?
Well, maybe a primitive fuel injection. Okay. And I would say 70s and 80s is a primitive fuel injection.
Okay.
They were horrible.
All right. Just say like your old throttle bodies.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they were okay, but they had their problems. They're nothing like now. I mean, I have a 24 Chevy truck. I pop the hood and I said, oh my. You know,
What's there? It's all that crap under there.
But
Yeah.
you get the same motor, and boy, what you're pushing in horsepower and torque is amazing compared to what we had.
Yeah.
But back to Hollies, the biggest thing on Hollies that people don't realize, you have to surface these things. If you're going to buy a kit, spend $50 for a kit. If you don't surface that main body, you're wasting your money because the gas comes into the wrong ports.
I found that out the hard way.
Big problem. That was always a huge problem with Hollies. They both, but they are what they are. You know, we do a ton of Hollies. I think on my desk just from this week, I'll probably have 7 that came in Monday and Tuesday.
But, you know, it seems like again, I've rebuilt Hollies. I've rebuilt Edelbrocks. The Hollies are always, to me, easier to work on. You've got the front and rear float bowls, kind of like what behind Rick's head. That's a poly design, even though it's a brawler. You know.
And you notice all these other companies copied the Holly.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why.
Right.
You know.
I mean, they still use Holly needles and seats.
Yeah.
Holly accelerator pumps. Holly gaskets on a lot of them. The Holly was a very good design.
Yep.
Just don't have issues. I mean, you have issues with everything. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
But the Hollies were pretty good. But like I say, just for the average guy, you know, run a file across those main bodies and you'll see where they're not straight. So you got to get them flat. And then you're not trying to lean something out because you got a rich problem here.
Yeah.
But,
go ahead, Rick.
Hey, Harry, just let's go with the Holly carburetor. How many pieces are in a Holly carburetor? Say you have it all laid out in front of you.
Oh God, I don't know.
He puts them together blindfolded now.
Well, between screws and plugs and tire valves, I mean, if you look at it, there's 6, okay? 6 or 8, 10 pieces. When you gut them, you know, you have 100.
100 pieces, okay.
Well, I'm guessing at 100, but there's a lot. I mean, you start pulling shafts apart, and there's tricks. I mean, if someone ever says, hey, I got to pull this throttle shaft apart, and they didn't know how to do it, they call me up, and I'll say, hey, you have to do it this way, or you're ruining the shaft. And I don't mind. I love telling people, you know, helping them out.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I went to rebuild a carburetor, and I thought, and again, looking at it, I thought, well, there's six parts on this carburetor. and I tore it apart. And I looked at that bench and thought, what did I do?
And you know what?
Did you get it back together?
It was like a wristwatch. How am I going to put this thing back together? I think I went out and bought a carburetor.
Down there. The guy's son took it apart.
Oh God.
Says, I don't think he knows how to put it back together. Can you
not a huge
Can you build this for us? Oh, sure. Yeah. But you can't, these guys try, and you understand that's not what they do every day.
Yeah.
And I'll help them out. I don't mind that. I love doing it, but my Mondays for about the first 3 hours, and this is the honest to God's truth, is on the phone talking to people. You know, people call. I mean, I'll get people call me from Alaska, and explain to them how to do this or how to do that. And, you know, Harry, I did this. What did I do wrong? And you know, it ran good until I rebuilt it. I said, well, I know exactly what you did.
Yeah.
And I said, take that body gasket out and check and see if the holes are the right holes, because they give you 2 different gaskets.
Flip that upside down or something. And
and I said, go take that part, put that gasket that way, make sure it's got the the offset holes. And I says, I'll guarantee you that'll probably cure it. And boy, they called me up, Harry, can I send you money? No, I'll get you on something. There's no,
so Harry,
another carburetor rebuilt, and you'll just decide to send it to him.
Yep.
And
let me ask.
I think that's why we get so much business.
Mhm.
I got let's say I got a classic car. I got a 60, for a Camaro, whatever, a classic car, and I got a carburetor on there. Is it better to rebuild? And I'm going to put you on the spot. Do I rebuild that carburetor, or do I go to Summit and buy a brand new carburetor?
Well, the new stuff is garbage.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's your answer.
Yeah.
Well, I knew a guy, well, he retired, but he told me he was the Holly rep for this district in this half of the United States. He says, Harry, we get more coming back sometimes than we sell.
Wow.
I don't know how that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And how can they make a profit doing that? Blows me away.
Well, when you sell a zillion of them.
Yeah.
But
so
and then Holly, for a while, they would get their returns because there's probably nothing wrong with them. And they would put them in a box. They would go through them and put them in a box as reman.
Yep.
I remember we'd get reman carburetors from Holly in the box that people bring. We'd look at when we'd see them, and they're brand new carburetors. They're not remans. They're brand new.
Yeah.
And, that was years ago, but I don't know how they do it now.
So, so if let's get that, if somebody's going out that needs a carburetor for a car, they're going out to a swap meet. There's good ones and bad ones. What does somebody look out for when you're looking at a used carburetor? What do you need to look for?
Well, the biggest thing you look for is make sure the shafts are not frozen. Okay. Your throttle shafts, when they freeze, go to the next place and find another. Unless it's a hot number. I mean, there's carburetors out there that the core value alone is $6,000-7,000.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Go find. I had a guy drop off a 70 or 71 GSX 4-speed car.
Quadrajet?
Yes.
Was it? Ooh, the 850? Was it an 850?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's a certain part number. And this guy made me he took a picture of me holding his carburetor. So he knew he was getting the same one back.
Yeah.
And, some of these things, these guys are restoring cars and they want the right part number and the right build date. Okay. Because if you look on Holly, you'll see the list number. There's a GM number on top. But then under there's like a 096 or something like that. It'll be a 3-digit number. And you can look it up. They'll tell you how to tell what month and week of the year this carburetor was made. So this guy wants this carburetor, his car was built in May. So he wants a May or February carburetor.
Yep.
Okay, you can put a August and June, July carburetor on it because, you could, they're identical. Except that stamp number is different.
Yeah.
And these guys will hunt these carburetors down for years. I've had guys that call me. They'll call me once every month, once every 2 months for years. Harry, did you find one of these with that build date? Well, yeah. But then you got to watch. On eBay, I've seen a lot of them that are restamps.
Oh, boy.
How do you know they're restamps?
Oh, yeah. That is terrible. That is I just had a guy last week. And I told him, I go, hey, this is a restamp. He goes, well, how do you know? I go, look at the numbers. They're crooked.
Yeah.
They're crooked. The numbers are crooked.
Yeah. Or one number's a little bit off. And, I says, because when they do these from the factory, they're not doing them with one single punch.
Yeah.
They're doing it with something.
It's got all the numbers punched in to punch it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And I could see a restamp. The quadrajets, I've seen tons of quadrajets that are restamped because they're easy to restamp.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't do that. I've had guys beg me to restamp, and I said, I'm not getting in that.
No.
I'm listening to this. I'm listening and I'm enjoying it. And who would have thought there's this much information on a carburetor?
Oh,
Yeah.
I can go tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Let me ask you, Harry, with all those carburetors in your shop, and again, I seen them there. You could say I got 5,000, but I seen them there. I mean, it's Rick, it's shocking. You got to stop that.
Yeah,
I wish we had a
stop
picture
down.
of it.
Oh, you just got to see it. It's amazing. But with all those carburetors there, and I know you know where the certain ones are,
Yeah.
and I'll put you on the spot. You,
Yeah.
you think you got one of them $6,000 ones down there somewhere on that wall?
Boy, if I did, I'd take the. I do have.
I
a
think
few
there
good-
is. I think there has to be.
Yeah.
You know,
There's a few. I hate to say it because if I did say yes, then my door will be broken in.
Yeah.
I put you
Yeah,
on the spot.
really.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I do have that's really cool is a smoky Yannick intake.
Never heard of it.
Oh, you got to come down. You got to see it.
Okay.
A guy
What was it again?
What
It's
is
a
it?
Smoky Yannick. It's Edelbrock from Smoky Yannick.
You spoke
And
Smoky
they make too
Yannick.
many.
Okay.
This guy told me that this was on a Yanko car.
Ooh.
And they didn't, because it's a wide open intake. I mean, it's a dumper. They're made for maybe idling and wide open throttle. That's
Okay.
it. And they couldn't stand it, so he put another carburetor and intake on it. And I think he said my dad did it back in.
He wanted a street car, basically. He didn't want one that's a single plane that just
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I looked at this intake and I'm thinking, geez, what the heck am I going to do with this? It's a Ford fuel injection intake. What do I want this for? He
Yeah.
goes, no, Harry, this was on my dad's Yanko. He goes, if you don't want it, I'm throwing it in the trash.
Oh no.
And he had to back down to Florida. So he gave me I bought the intake off. When I looked at it, I go, okay, yeah, it is a GM intake. Boy, that is a weird intake. I bought that and I bought the carburetor. Well, I started running numbers about a week later, and geez, the core value on the carburetor alone was like $2,500.
Yeah, just the core value. Wow.
The intake is worth like $1,500. So it's amazing, the stuff we threw away.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff we threw away, you just love to have it back.
This is a small example. When I had my Caprice, when it was all original and that, it's a 79 Caprice 350. It came with a Carter Quadrajet, and I wish I kept that because they're not as common as the Rochesters.
Right.
Because I know that's history, but I'm like, I wish I still had that because you know what? Out of that Carter, I had the Carter Quadrajet.
Right.
That thing was so loud. I mean, those things roar. But that one would shake the dashboard of the car.
Yeah.
It would.
Well, Carter went out of business, I think, in 80. But back in I think it was 1 year in the 60s, maybe early 70s. I can't remember right now. Something happened to Rochester. I don't know if there was a fire or what, but Carter redid all the stamping. So it's basically the exact carburetor.
Yeah, because
zero difference.
This was 79 because I know it was an original carburetor on that car.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and you know what? I'm going to run through some carburetors that the big three or even some foreign cars had and give me a yes if you like them or no. Quadrajet.
Love them.
Okay. Thermoquad.
Hate
Thermoquads are on the Mopar products.
Oh, you know what we did with the thermoquads on the truck? We changed them to quadrajets.
Yeah, and again, the basic thermoquads is a basic carburetor with a plastic body to keep heat in. Okay. And tell me how that really was supposed to work and how it didn't.
Well, it was supposed to keep everything cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this and that. Problem was they warped pretty bad. And remember how the quadrajets have those two plugs in the back that always leaked? Well, they have the same thing that leaks. And the big problem with the thermoquad is, and I was a Chrysler guy all my life. I've always had Dodges. The biggest problem was they put them on the most detuned motors. I mean, the 400s,
the 318s, the 360.
The weirdest thing was the 318 and the 360. It's not that big difference of a motor.
No.
318 runs forever. 360 doesn't. I don't know why.
Now you talked about a 340 is my favorite small blocker.
340, yeah, that's a great.
They're screamers.
Yeah.
But-
All right.
It's amazing.
I'm enjoying this so much. So Greg, continue your list.
All right, go on with the list. I'm sorry.
All right.
We'll sit there and BS all day.
Okay, here's a list. Solex.
Solex. Never heard of a Solex.
Solexes were always good.
Volkswagen. Sorry,
Yeah.
I had two Solex.
Yeah.
Now
Solex was a good carburetor.
Weber.
Yes. Very good.
Okay. Let's see. Stromberg, obviously.
Well, I love Strombergs. Strombergs are a little more sensitive to dirt and bad fuel.
Okay.
That's the problem with Strombergs.
Now, you do downdraft carburetors.
Yes.
What about side draft?
Some.
What's
like
that?
The Del Toros and stuff like that. The Webers, we'll do them, but I will not do them right now. I'll do them. To be honest with you, I like to do them in the wintertime when we get rid of all the car show guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'll do them, but it's
these Webers and side drafts, great. They're on the Euro cars, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
British.
Yeah. British cars. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're good set.
So
when they run right and they're set.
Yeah.
Can't beat them.
So let me tell you one of my first stories as a young guy with a carburetor. So the best jobs I ever had, I was driving tow truck for Belkin's Tire and Towing, downtown Youngstown. And we used to call them won't starts. I got a won't start call. So I go out and I'm a young kid and I pop the hood and I take the air cleaner off and I tell the guy, okay, now look, I'm gonna work your throttle here. Don't hit the gas pedal. I'm going to get this thing started. So I open the butterfly and I stick my little 2-inch pencil down there. Yeah. To hold it open. And the guy cranks it open and he pumps the pedal and that pencil just disappeared.
Yeah. Oh, no. Right in the
and
intake.
I put the air cleaner back on and said, okay, hey, you're on your way.
Oh.
I never knew where to.
This one of the fondest memories I have of my dad. When my Caprice is my first car. I still have it, but back in high school, I was having problems with that Carter Quadrajet. So it was loading up. I'm like, okay, so I got a Rochester out of a junkyard, rebuilt it, but again, I was in high school, so I didn't know it too well. So my dad, I was having trouble with the shot pump in it, or the accelerator pump. So I said, Dad, could you look at this and see if it's getting fuel? So he puts his face over it, and I hit the pedal, and the flame just went and burned his eyebrows off.
Oh, sure.
I'll never forget it. That was the best. And he's like, and he hit his head off the hood. He's like, ow. I'm like, and his face is black with soot.
He had some choice words for you.
Oh, he was, yeah. My dad didn't swear too much, but man, every word came out of his mouth in the book.
I singed a lot of hair.
I know.
Starting cars.
When you start telling that story, I remember back in, I think it was 69 or 70, a guy had a 427 tri-power vet, and it was green. And it was just beautiful. He had it back to the dealer 100 times, could never figure it out. They brought it down the shop, and my dad's over there. And I you're a jerk. So he's over there throttling up, and I popped my gum. I was stabbed my gum. He jumps up, hits his head. Yeah, I thought he was going to kill me. If you knew my dad, I thought he was going to kill me. That's.
Let me ask you this, Harry, because another story I thought of when I was younger and I went out to start a car one time. It was an older car. And again, driving a tow truck, and I took the air cleaner off and I told the guy, I said, who worked on, and this is a true story, but then I'm going to lead to the question. Sure. I said, who did this to your car? He said, what? I said, somebody put oil all in your air cleaner.
No, jeez. Oh, God.
So I just dumped it out. I just dumped the oil out.
Said, no.
I said, that's your problem. But anyway, that's a true story.
Yeah.
But, how important, because you see guys just for looks go with the cheap little air cleaner. How important is that air cleaner on a carburetor?
Well, mostly on your Edelbrocks. Your Edelbrock has to have the round gasket. I mean, just putting the air cleaner on, the dirt will come through that without a gasket. That's why, because Edelbrocks run their idle tubes straight up and down, and they're exposed. So that's why you always have that problem with the Edelbrocks. I do not like some of these super filters.
Okay, we won't mention any brands, but we
No,
do.
I won't mention it. But the super filters that have the foam, and they get a little oil on them and a little bit of dust. That filter's plugged. I personally think go get yourself that big old white air cleaner. Okay, the old white air filter.
Yeah,
that we all remember. Believe me, nothing's going to go through there that's going to hurt your motor.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. And we had good luck with it. I've had guys come with those things. They're so proud of them. Remember the old triangle ones with the foam all through them?
Oh, those were Edelbrock's as well. I think those. Yeah, they were foam.
Yeah, and these guys would dump them and get up about 3,500, 4,500 RPM. The motor would start bogging. And I say, okay, now wait a minute. Let's take this air cleaner off. Let me put this air cleaner on just to run it. It cures the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now here's one of the problems with those foams. After so many years of using it, that foam it starts to disintegrate, and then it starts dropping. It'll suck it right in the carburetor, and then you got some issues. And I've seen that happen. I've had it happen.
Yeah. Well, I had a guy with a tri-power car, a GTO, and he says, Harry, I went to test drive it, and when I dump it real hard, boy, it just starts bogging and just not running right. He says it's just falling on its face. There's something matter with the carburetors you did. I said, well, bring it down. Let me look at it. So he brings it down. This is a gorgeous car. It's from Youngstown area, and he opens the hood up, and I could see 3 big wet spots on the. On the
the bottom of the hood there, yeah.
And he didn't have the air cleaners on him, and he's running it while he dumps it, and they're sucking all the felt in,
the insulation in.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, it's a fire mat. He's fire mat.
In this business, you could never say I've seen it all.
Yeah,
because tomorrow something will come in like. Oh my! Really?
Yeah.
Hey, Harry, how far do you go around the world with your carburetors?
Well,
do you have a market like over in Asia and Europe and all that?
We do a lot in France. There's actually a distillery of it's I can't remember what they make. I think it's a beer company, and he loves Jeeps. He he comes into New York. This is honestly true. He comes into New York City. He mails me from New York City 4 or 5 carburetors for these Jeeps. I hurry up because I know the guy, and I'll ship them back to someone in New York City because he doesn't want to pay to have to ship them. So we do. I know we do a lot for this guy in France, do a lot in Sweden. Most of my work is the United States. I'll be dead honest. But a lot of people say, hey, why do I want to send this 2,000 miles away? But people do. I mean,
there's a reason why. You want it done right.
You're the best.
You'll walk in the shop, you'll say, Harry, what do you got here today? And I'll show you the boxes. And you'll say, really? Why did this guy in California send you the carburetor? I don't know. Hopefully,
we got about a minute and a half. We got about a minute and a half.
Minute and a half, real quick. A year from now, when we redo this show, I'm gonna suggest that we all go down to Harry's shop.
Oh, sure. I love to see
two or 3 6-packs of beer. Set up the camera. We'll do the show like that.
Well, yeah. By the time the 12th beer goes down, that show is going to be really good. Maybe we'll do a 3-hour special.
How cluttery my shop.
Yeah, get some bourbon in there too. So,
Harry, I want to thank you. Let me close with this. I can't tell you how impressed I was. How I've never knew there was so much information. Believe me, on carburetors, the show was much better than I thought it was. So, thank you for being there. Thank you for continuing your dad's shop, and thank you for being one of the guests on the podcast.
Well, I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. It's
hey Harry, one quick question
out there like me, like us.
Yep. Go ahead, Greg, real quick.
Okay, real one quick question. What would happen if something would happen to you tomorrow with all that your carburetors? Is there somebody a backup?
No.
We definitely want to have you back. There's a ton of questions. For Rick Herrera, John Lesaganich, I'm Greg Roten. We will see you
See you
down the road.